Yo, what up, though, gang? It's your boy Prince Rock back again with another reaction, man. Man, we gonna I wanna go ahead and react to shit, Bankroll. I said that wrong. Bankroll Freddie's pretty much 12-year federal prison bid. And I'm reacting to Al Prophet, you know what I'm saying? Bro been doing this thing for a couple years, man. He make a couple bangers, man, you know what I mean? He be talking about, what be going on in the streets, so I ain't gonna say bro the voice of the streets, but bro definitely tapped in as far as what be going on. So let's dive in and see what bro, you know what I mean, what the update is, man. I used to bump Bankroll Freddie, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I mean, bro, as he calls himself, one of the last trap rappers. Now I don't know how he, you know what I mean, how that's gonna work out, because I think, you know what I mean, trapper been here before and is gonna be here after. So yeah, but I ain't gonna talk too much. Let's dive in and see what's up, man.
What's happening? Hey, man. We on the way, man. They can't stop guys playing, bro. We're going for the appeal. You hear me?
Do you want to make money or be known for violence? Well, Bankroll Freddie found out the hard way last week that if you want to be known for violence, you're going to end up with a lot more time than if you were just trying to get money. He was sentenced to 12 and a half years. There was 2 different indictments that went on down there in that Pine Bluff area. EBK, which was Bankroll Freddie's crew, and Lodi murder mob.
3 federal investigations that were focused on the drug and firearm pipeline in Arkansas have resulted in 80 indictments and 45 arrests. According to the indictment, Freddie Gladney III and 34 other individuals distributed. Those gangs were Everybody Killas, or the EBK, and the Lodi Murder Mob Gang.
Bankroll Freddie, you can see here, was pulled over on the highway in 2021, and he had 21 bowls, 30,000 in cash, and 2 and he had 21 bowls, 30,000 in cash, and 2 ghost bangers.
Huh? You don't have bonus? Nah, I dropped them when they grabbed me.
And I don't know if he was clearing out his stash spot or what.
Is there any compartments in the car?
They was investigating him, gang. When the police pull you over with that much work, they was already watching you, gang. Trust me. And as far as the answer to the first question, do you want to make money or you want to, you know what I'm saying? Man, you can't do both. Like, gang, your boy used to be in the streets, bro. And that's one thing that was always understood, bro. When there's blood on the streets, nobody can make money, bro. If you beefing or whatever, you making the spot hot. You know what I'm saying?
What? Any compartments in the car? No. Is that all you got in the car? Mm-hmm. You sure? Yeah. Nothing here? No. Can I make a phone call? Not right now. Hold tight, all right?
I think what really got...
Phone call? No.
And the crazy part is, none of them are sealed. You feel me? You can see everything is in turkey bags. You know what I'm saying? He got the gas in the turkey bags. He ain't sealed nothing. So 9 times out of 10, Brain do his due diligence to move right. You feel me? Bruh definitely got picked up on his way from, you know what I'm saying, leaving out the stash house or just re-upped.
Not right now. Hold tight, all right?
I think what really got them on the radar and the feds wanting to slam them was that when a Pine Bluff, Arkansas officer was serving a warrant on a motel in Pine Bluff, one of the EBK guys blew him down.
My name's Cameron Salo, I'm Dylan Salo, and we're currently attending NLC Idaho campus.
They twins? That's dope.
After nearly 3 years of waiting, the trial of the man accused of shooting and killing Detective Kevin Collins has come to an end. After a 4-day trial...
Y'all shot a detective, bro. Y'all shot a detective, bro. Fucking geniuses, bro.
In a full day of deliberations, the jury returned a verdict. THV 11's Rebecca Brown has been following this trial from the beginning and joins us live with all the details now. Rebecca?
Yeah, Faith, it has been an emotional week here for everyone involved at the Jefferson County Courthouse. But after reviewing all the evidence and hearing all the witness testimonies, the jury unanimously decided that Keyshawn Smith was guilty of first-degree murder. Now, just taking you back from the beginning, Detective Kevin Collins was murdered on October 5th, 2020, after attempting to arrest Keyshawn Smith at the Econo Lodge in Pine Bluff. The prosecutors originally, at the beginning of the trial, sought out for capital murder along with 2 counts of first-degree battery when first accusing Keyshawn Smith of shooting and killing Detective Kevin.
I got a crazy story, bro. You see this little the Dodge Durango right here? Man, a couple nights ago, man, I only say a couple nights, like about a month ago, bro. I was, story time, right? I'm walking outside to take the trash or whatever, right? And a car just like that, blacked out, zoomed past me, bro. They almost damn near hit me. I had to drop, you know what I mean? Drop the trash on the ground just to get out of his way. You feel me? And when he drove past, I'm yelling at him. I'm like, bro, what is you doing? Why you doing 50, you know what I mean, through a parking lot, bro? You feel me? He stopped the car, looked at me, you know what I mean? Drove, you know what I mean? At that point, I'm like, bro, I'm thinking dude gonna turn around and apologize, you know what I mean? Like, hey, man, my bad, Brian, see you, whatever. Man, dude stopped, rolled down his window a little bit, looked at me, kept driving. Of course, at this point, I'm pissed off, bro. You just try to run me over. You didn't even say sorry, bro. You feel me? Least you could do is my bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm heated, bro. So I'm walking even closer to the car like, hey, man, what's up? Woo. Man, hop out the car if, you know what I mean? If that's what it is, man. Dude drove a little bit further, stopped again. You know what the fuck at this point, you know what I mean? This man playing with me, bro. You feel me? I keep walking. I'm popping my shot. Again, I'm heated, bro. This man almost tried to run me over for no reason, bro. You feel me? I'm talking about not 2 seconds later, bro, he spun the block, right? When he spun the block and came around, I'm talking about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 police officers come out the woodworks. Woo! Lights on, everything. I'm like, what the fuck going on? You feel me? Come, hey, man, get down on the ground, what's going on? I'm like, man, what the fuck I need to get down on the ground for? You feel me? Oh, we got a call for a man who was belligerent, unruly. I'm like, yeah, bro, this man almost tried to run me over while I'm taking out my trash, bro. They're like, oh, well, that's not what we heard, this and that. Now, that's whenever I got, 2 cents kicked into me. First question I asked him, I said, hey, big dog, first and foremost, this man tried to run me over. You could see my trash literally right there on the ground where he tried to run me over. I literally had to jump out the way so he wouldn't hit me, right? How did y'all pop up so fast? That man told me, oh no, we were in the area. We got a phone call, so we showed up. Bruh, I'm not the smartest motherfucker on planet Earth, bro, right? I promise you, I'm not the smartest motherfucker on planet Earth. But I know the response time for most police departments in America is about 5 to 10 minutes. They said it was like 5 minutes, but really I say 5 to 10 minutes, right? Because if you logically think of it, right? If I call the police right now, 911, what's your emergency? Hey, man, this happened over here. Oh, where did it happen? Calm down. It happened over here. Okay, where are you on the corner of? I'm in the corner of here. Okay, stay on the line. We have officers on the way. When that dispatch, you see me, gets on the other line and call, hey, all units, we have a disturbance at this and this location. Bro, that's at least 2-3 minutes for you to explain what's going on. Another 2-3 minutes for them to reach out to the nearest, you know what I'm saying? And another maybe 2-3 minutes for them to pull up. So realistically, maybe 9 minutes for that whole interaction to happen. These people literally pulled up when dude spun the block, bro. That's when I peep game. Oh, that's an undercover car. You see one of these bitches riding through a parking lot, gang? That's an undercover car, gang.
Collins. But the jury decided that the prosecutors did not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Keyshawn Smith premeditated killing and shooting Detective Collins. But in today's verdict, the jury found Keyshawn Smith guilty in first-degree murder as well as firearm enhancement, adding more to his sentence.
Now, I don't know what Bankroll Freddie was thinking about when he didn't take a plea. There was a total of 80 defendants indicted between the Lodi mob and the EBK, or 70 to...
When you're indicted with 80 niggas, half of them gonna tell. And they're usually, well, if not most of them, out of 80 niggas, I say 70 niggas gonna tell. And they're giving out a deal to the first nigga that tells. Facts.
Defendants. And on his side, on EBK, it included his own father, and everybody took a plea but him. And again, you can see from the footage, he was caught red-handed. I assume that he was trying to get the evidence thrown out on illegal search and seizure, but it didn't work. And it's always risky to go to trial. Now, why did he get so much time? Well, here's a lesson for you guys. He got some enhancements for being the leader of a group that had multiple members, so he was overseeing people selling stuff. Unfortunately, the amounts they were selling weren't really very much. He was overheard on a wiretap complaining about somebody owing him money for 11 grams of crack. His father was charging people $100 to cook up, but under the federal guidelines, I mean, even a little bit of involvement to get you in trouble. An investigation revealed on April 14th, 2020.
Called a conspiracy. That's how they get you with that RICO gang. If you know somebody to sell drugs and you send somebody else to that person to sell drugs and they buy a bunch of drugs from them, you're involved in that RICO as well. So you got to be careful who you associate with.
Arkansas State Police observed his truck speeding. They pulled him over. They, of course, said they just detected an odor of reefer, like they always say. They removed him from the car. During a search, they found a mini Draco and a Polymer 80 P90. And
ghost gun.
That was what's known as a ghost gun.
Ghost gun.
Printed it out. And additionally, during a search of the back seat, they pulled out a duffel bag with 21 pounds of high-grade reefers, $33,000 in cash, and he had a bunch of loaded magazines. Then he gets on the phone in jail, and he says to a co-defendant, "What did you get out of the house in Helena?" "I got everything out of there." "Scales and everything?" "No, let me call them, send me back to get that."
Bro, the average street nigga barely has a high school education, bro. You feel me? Take it from a former street nigga, bro. Half the niggas you deal with in the streets barely got a high school education, barely got a GED, barely graduated. The average police officer got an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. By the time they get to being a detective, they got all types of masters and PhDs, bro. You feel me? They study criminology. They understand how criminals think, all that. You know what I'm saying? I say that to say this, bro. You was on a jail call discussing criminal activities, bro. Man, where they find these niggas at, bro? That's why I say, bro, hey, the streets is cooked, bro. If you're going to involve yourself in the streets, bro, understand that the average nigga in that shit is very simple-minded. And 9 times out of 10, they going to get you caught up. Gang, almost every time I went to jail over some, you know what I'm saying, some street shit, wasn't because they couldn't catch me, because they caught another slow nigga. You feel me? And then that motherfucker pointed them to me. You feel me? And once I peeped that shit, I was like, bruh, this a losing game. Because I'm betting my freedom on another man caring about me more than he cares about himself. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas will pop all that gangster shit, all that tough shit. Man, niggas act way different in court. Niggas act way different in front of the interrogation room. Niggas act way different whenever they hear them football numbers being thrown out. You know what I'm saying? Man, if you in the streets, big dog, understand these things. This is strictly a message for the street niggas. Understand what you're signing up for, my nigga.
Scales, get everything out of the house, guns, everything. Where's the Mac 90 at? It's not there. All right, get everything out of the house before they go search that bitch.
My nigga. Even Diddy was smart enough not to talk about crimes over the jail phone, bro. They have a recording when Diddy was talking to his son, bro. You feel me? Whenever they picked him up. And when he finished talking to his son, you know what he said? He said, hey, man, I love you, son. Hey, don't forget to take out that trash. You know, that trash I left, man, don't forget to take out that trash, man. Now, of course, they cannot prove what he's saying is what he's saying. But logic says this billion-dollar man does not need his son to take out the damn trash. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they got maids. They got all types of people that clean up. He don't got to take out the trash. You're not calling your son from jail to tell him to take out the trash. Man, niggas is slow, bro.
So right there, he got himself more months added because that's impeding an investigation.
Hey, man, can you share your #1 tip for business success?
Switch to Monday CRM.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
Hold up.
Sir, that is a lie. That is not how you...
October 2019, suburban Atlanta, Cobb County to be exact, a Comfort Inn, the parking lot, and we all know it goes down at the Comfort Inn. 2 black males pull into one slot.
It be going down in a telly, gang. If you know, you know.
The black male pulls in another. They converse. First 2 black males slither into the hotel through a back door. And the first guy, when he was by himself, he walks in right past the front desk. They wave him in, and he says he needs to look around, and they let him do so. Now, what's the difference with him? Well, he's an Atlanta cop. He's dressed in his policeman's outfit. He's got his bulletproof vest on.
Hey, yo, hold on.
So, desk, they wave him in, and he says he needs to look around, and they let him do so. Now, what's the difference with him? Well, he's an Atlanta cop. He's dressed in his policeman's outfit. He's got his bulletproof vest on. So he goes up to the 4th floor, and he's walking around. This is all on surveillance. He's scoping, seeing who's there. He knocks on a door.
He said, I'm here for suspicion activity going on up here. So I said, what you mean? We headed out. We're packing our bags. Suspicious activity, just me and him. My cousin comes to the door. Hey, this is my room. What's going on?
Bankroll Freddie, Arkansas rapper, and his cousin are in the room. But of course, there's been no disturbance. And when they finally open the door for the cop, he jets off. And the 2 guys who snuck in, they pull firearms. They put him to Bankroll and his cousin. Bankroll gets off down.
Got come from.
Bro, man, what kind of slow shit is going on in Atlanta, man? What kind of slow shit is going down in Atlanta, man? The police officer set up the play. So you went into this business with multiple cameras inside and outside to set up a robbery, bro, and thought nothing was going to happen? Man, geniuses, boy, you hear me? Hey, geniuses.
Inside, you already know what time it is.
Freddie Bankroll escaped without injury, but his cousin was pistol whipped multiple times.
Now all they get is an iPhone and $800 in cash.
The rapper and his cousin were preparing to check out of the Cobb County motel near the Battery when the armed robbery went down.
So what was this all about? Well, let's go back. Bankroll Freddie had just gotten signed earlier in 2019 to Quality Control. People think that's a record label. It's a management deal. Bankroll Freddie got his record deal with Motown Records. Hit a song, Check the Drip. Saved by the Bales was his.
That nigga's song is not Check the Drip, nigga. That nigga's song was Drip Like This. Caught a little money, just drip like this.
Mixtape that came out in 2019 put him on the map. He's one of them guys, they say, last of the trap rappers, whatever that means, but in not long after, well, a year or so after the robbery, a little more than a year.
7-year-old Bankroll Freddie, or Freddie Gladney, was arrested during a traffic stop Thursday in Marion. During a search.
That's a stupid police officer, bro. If he was doing the motherfucking Lonzo from Training Day, right? Gang, there's a way to do that, right? If anything, you try to figure out. I'm not even gonna tell y'all how to do. I'm not even gonna tell. All right, fuck, man. Listen, I'm not in the streets, so I'm gonna give you a scenario, right? So let's say if I was in the same position as them, right? Gang, I will call you up, right? Tell you, yeah, I need this many bowls, this many, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Let's meet up here. When you go meet me there, right? I'll go ahead, you know what I mean? Cop however many bowls, ooh, give me the work, cool. Then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have that police officer pull you over. He gonna pull you over, say, hey man, I smell the odor of marijuana in the car, sir. I need to search the car. Oh, ain't no marijuana in here. Woo. He not knowing, oh, we know ain't nothing in there. Search that damn car. Guess what you're gonna find? Them racks. You feel me? You're gonna tell him, hey, big dog, this a whole lot of money here, man. You know, by law, you can't travel with more than $10,000 at one time because the police can seize that. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, there's the thing where at the airport where they be getting people, they be doing people dirty who travel with cash. They steal your shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, he would. Like, yeah, bro, this is more than $10,000. Yeah, we're going to take this as evidence. If you want your money back, come to the police station and file a report. Got him. You feel me? That nigga ain't going to no police station to file no report. You know what I'm saying? Now you got the work and your cash back. That's what I would do if I was a criminal. I'm not a criminal no more. I don't involve myself in criminal activities. You know what I'm saying? I don't even associate with criminals anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a straight and narrow, gang. You hear me? That's a life that I used to live in my 20s, gang. But that's how I would do it. I wouldn't just have a, you know what I mean? Like, niggas don't be thinking out their crimes when they do it.
Of his truck, police found a gun, 21 pounds of marijuana, and 171 grams of prescription sedative. Freddie was booked into the Crittenden County Detention Center on state drug and weapons charges and held for FBI on equivalent federal charges.
Bankroll Freddie is part of EBK. Lottie Murder Boys, I guess is who they beef with. There was a lot of violence. Pine Bluff and Arkansas areas. Pine Bluff and Arkansas and Little Rock are actually quite violent cities.
Get busy in Arkansas. Hey, them boys get busy in Arkansas, gang.
Little Rock staring down one of the city's deadliest years in nearly 3 decades.
Sunday's homicide tied the record for the number of homicides in a single year.
Bankroll Freddie's from a place called...
And that will never work, bro. Back to what he said before, gang. You can't... One of my favorite rappers said this shit. He said, you want to get money or you want to beef? Because you can't do both, especially in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Gang, you can't be dropping bodies and thinking you're going to make money, bro. The police know that to a certain extent, niggas be doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? And they usually turn a blind eye as long as, you know what I mean? You keep your shit on the low. Gang, the minute bodies start dropping, the community's asking questions. Damn, bro, it's hard to live over here. Every day there's a new person getting killed. Or why they getting killed? Oh, there's a drug war over here. A drug war? Okay, now we got to figure out who all the two sides are, who all's beefing, why they beefing. Who, you know what I mean? You fucking yourself over doing some slow shit like that.
West Helena, which I actually have a bunch of footage of. And if I go into his story more in the part 2, I'll flex some of it, show you what West Helena looks like. The reason I have footage of it is the Chambers brothers. There was an episode of American Gangster season 1 on BET about they were the first crack kingpins to make the
Detroit
news. They were the brothers from Detroit.
Yes, sir.
They had the infamous videotape, money, 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 I'm rich, God damn it. Should we give all the $1 bills away that you've seen over and over? Well, they're originally from Marietta, Arkansas, West Helena.
Money, money, money. The profits were staggering, up to $1 million a week. Authorities say the Chambers brothers who made this home video didn't even bother to count the $1 bills because it took too long.
Should we throw these ones away, man?
Why you got a home video of the crimes you do, gang? My dog, why do you have physical evidence of the crimes that you doing, bruh? Like, if you're gonna do crime, at least try to hide that shit, bruh. You feel me? And again, this is strictly for the street niggas, gang. You know what I'm saying? Gang, why would you document the wrongs that you're doing? Like, you know what I mean? And then the second thing, they said they had so much money they couldn't count it. That's the most ignorant statement I ever heard in my life, my nigga. When you make that type of money, shit, I know a square nigga tell you, you don't count the money, you get a money counter or you weigh that shit. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, you get that money counter, and once that money counter, you know what I'm saying? You get to weigh in that shit, gang. It's easier.
We got $500,000. Well, I tell you what we can do. We can give it to the poor. That's exactly what I say too. We'll just donate those to the poor.
And I went down and saw Billy Joe down there. He did about 27 years in prison. I interviewed him in Detroit and down there. Still haven't used all the footage. West Alina was interesting. It was like it was like 3 square blocks of the east side of Detroit, plopped down in the middle of the countryside in Arkansas. And so Freddie, why Bankroll was in Atlanta with his cousin, what they were doing, cop, and 2 guys coming to rob him. It wasn't for no iPhone. How did they know what room he was in? Remember, they knocked on the door. They didn't randomly see him. Had to have thought he had something, but Bankroll ran out of the room. He ran away from the room, and they pistol whipped the cousin. The police, the real police came. They made a report, and that cop ended up getting arrested.
He said, I'm here to speak AT was going on up here. So I said, what you mean? We headed out. We packing our bags. We said, AT, just me and him. My cousin come to the door. Hey, this is my room. What's going on?
But he actually wasn't really a cop anymore at that point. He had not been a cop for about 2 weeks. He had just quit. Well, he had been forced to quit after an internal affairs investigation by the Atlanta PD because he offered to remove a guy's felony warrant in exchange for payment, and somehow he got caught.
Bro was living Training Day. Bro thought he was Lonzo from Training Day, gang. Come on, man. Come on, man. Just a bunch of slow niggas doing slow shit together.
And it was internal Atlanta PD people who called the news so this reporter could get this story.
He looked like he was on official police business, but tonight disgraced ex-Atlanta police officer Justin Thorne is preparing to serve a 10-year prison sentence after he pled guilty earlier this month for his role in the 2019 armed robbery of Freddie Gladney III, who's better known by his stage name Bankroll Freddie.
So the cop's name was Justin Thorne. He was only maybe 23 when this happened. He had joined the force when he was 21, so he didn't last long. I wonder if he joined the force with bad intentions.
My dog. You joined the police department to do crimes, bro. You joined the police department to do crimes, bro, and you don't even know how to do the crimes, bro. You feel me? Blood so slow, he don't even know what he doing, bro. My nigga, if you look up how much the salary of a police officer, most police officers in most cities make 6 figures, if not close to it. So it ain't like bruh needed the money. You feel me? Unless he just had a crazy gambling addiction or whatever crazy shit going on, gang. You feel me? Most cops make 6 figures, bro. You know what I'm saying? You stick it out and do that shit the way you're supposed to do it, you feel me? You gonna be all right for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? What a slow motherfucker.
Or he got mixed up with somebody and his life spun out of control. Now, during his initial bond hearing after he got charged, I guess he was identified from the camera surveillance footage. Not a smart guy.
Man.
He kept his police uniform.
Stupid motherfucker.
Uniform and his bulletproof vest so he could, you know, get Bankroll to come to the door. I wonder if those guys had done other robberies. There was no other charges, and I'm just imagining things, but I imagine a scenario where Bankroll was up in Atlanta, maybe getting right. Somebody told them, or to robbers, and they had their hooks in this cop. And the reason why I say their hooks in this cop, he said at his bond hearing he only got involved with this because someone threatened his family. What the hell does that mean? Did he owe somebody some money and they were using him? Did he just get out of control?
Cap. If he's a police officer and somebody threatened his family, do you know what a regular police officer is going to do? They're going to find out what information, where you live, who your name is, and they're going to launch an FBI investigation, my brother. First, they're going to have a police officer sit outside of their whatever family members you threaten. they're going to have a cop sit outside their neighborhood, and they're literally going to launch an investigation. If you text them or you call them, nigga, the FBI has all types of programs where they can go through your phone and find out who you are, bro. So that's cap. I think bruh just had, you know what I'm saying? Bruh got caught up in, it was a goofy nigga caught up in goofy shit.
Turned out cops don't make that much money, but if you're in that, it's probably weird being a young cop.
Cap. Go on Indeed right now and look up how much police officers make, bro. Depending on what city you in, 60 to 80,000 on the low end, 100, 125 on the high end, and that's just the base salary, not including overtime hours, whatever special units you fucking join, you feel me? That's cap.
Especially too, where you're kind of the same demographic as a lot of the criminals and the drug dealers, tempted to get mixed up and stuff, but if you're not smart, it's a tricky game, and he wasn't smart enough to play it. He didn't tell. He had to have known who those two guys who he helped rob Bankroll and his cousin. He had to know who they were, but he didn't give them up. Was he scared of them? Who were these guys? It'd be interesting to know. So just in May of this year, Justin Thorne pled guilty. He got 10 years in prison. I don't know what the parolable time there is down in Georgia, a third, a half. I don't know if he was out on bond. If he was in jail for most of the last 4 years, I mean, he might be getting out in a couple more years. Probably is either way. I mean, Bankroll Freddie will probably be in, or could well be in when this guy gets out, which would be ironic because back in November of 2022, remember in spring of 2022, he got caught with the 21 Bulls, but in November 2022, Freddie Gladney III, aka Bankroll Freddie, along with his father, Freddie Gladney Jr., and 43 others hit with a massive indictment.
The U.S. Attorney's Office announcing a massive number of federal drug and firearm arrests in both Little Rock and Pine Bluff.
It was a massive bust that was led by a massive team of investigators. More than a dozen federal, state, and local agencies are part of these ongoing operations working to address the pipeline of crime from Pine Bluff to Little Rock.
Last night was a restless night for hundreds of law enforcement officers that supported this multi-state, multi-jurisdictional operation.
45 arrests made Wednesday morning and 80 people indicted on federal firearm and drug trafficking charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office calling it a monumental takedown.
The most violent offenders, the most violent groups, in the most violent places.
Rapper Bankroll Freddie was one of those arrested today on drug trafficking and firearm charges. An indictment show he was part of one of the gang investigations by the FBI. He and many others arrested today are being held at the Pulaski County Detention Center waiting to appear in court. The U.S. Attorney's Office says there are still 27 fugitives who have not been arrested yet.
Conspiracy to possess and distribute cocaine, crack cocaine, fentanyl, marijuana, a bunch of guns. I think his sister was on a wiretap call with his father, like it was a family affair, alleged. A lot of serious charges. I'm not sure if he's out on bond. I don't think he is.
And that's what I mean by, bro, the average street nigga is slow as shit, bro. You feel me? The average street nigga be lucky if you dealing with somebody with a GED, bro. Average street nigga does not understand how surveillance works. Niggas is still in the 80s and the 90s thinking the police got a post up on the block. My guy, we are in 2025. They got these crazy programs called Stinger System. You feel me? A Stinger System is nothing more than they have them in a jail system, as a matter of fact. There's not even no conspiracy theory. This is what they have in jail to intercept incoming and outgoing phone calls, text messages, whatever. And this system, they can literally put it into a van, park that bitch right down the street, and it pretty much acts as a cell phone tower or an intermediate between the cell phone tower and the phone. So whenever you make a call, whenever you send a text message or whatever, instead of it going straight to the tower, it goes through that Stinger system, and then it goes to the cell phone tower. They don't got to follow you around. They don't have to have binoculars sitting in the woods, staking you out. You know what I'm saying? Those days are gone, man. You feel me? And that's the light shit that they use. The shit that they can use that they can't even tell you about, that they will not present in court. Because when they do an investigation on you, there's certain evidence they can present to the judge and say, hey, this evidence was found through this means. And the judge might throw it out, be like, no. The way y'all found that evidence was wrong or whatever. What they call it, fruit from a poisoned tree. So if they got the evidence the wrong way, they'll throw it out in court. You feel me? So they have systems like the Pegasus program, right? This is an Israeli software program used to track down like terrorists. You know what I'm saying? Like the big dogs, the big criminals. You know what I'm saying? Bro, this program downloads itself onto your phone. Matter of fact, this program is so smart, it can download itself on into your phone without you even knowing. It will sit in your phone and figure out when the mic is quiet. So when everybody's asleep in the room, when you haven't touched your phone for a long enough time, so they know, okay, he's asleep. It downloads everything on your phone and it could delete itself. And you will never know they watched your shit. Now, of course, they're not going to tell you, yeah, we did this and this to figure it that way. They'll just use that as the first step of, okay, now we know what he's doing. So now let's launch an investigation from there. But again, most street niggas don't like to learn, like learning new things, learning new technologies is so hard because they trapping so hard. They don't understand these things. That's why I said, bro, the streets is dead, bro. I had to explain to one of the homies that's still in the game, like, bro, my nigga, they don't even have to follow you when you road running, bro. You know what I'm saying? Gang, I used to be in the streets, did all that dumb shit, gang. My nigga, they don't have to follow you anymore. My nigga, I used to road run from Cali all the way, you feel me? I've been from the East Coast to the West Coast of America, bro. Now, of course, the statute of limitations on what I did is long past, and I'm not sitting here telling you about the crimes that I did. I'm just giving you an example to explain to you, like, that's a life I lived and I understand it. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I saw a video the other day where they pulled over a truck driver. State trooper asked him, hey, man, where you coming from? He's like, oh, man, I'm coming from Oklahoma, or, so he made up some bullshit. The officer said, oh, yeah? Are you sure? And they're like, yeah, man, I'm coming from all the way from Oklahoma. You know what that man told him? He said, well, it says here that you were actually in California a day or two ago. That man looked at him and said, huh? How do you know that? He said, well, man, we have license plate readers on the highways. The license plate reader clocks you in Cali, when you pass through Arizona, when you pass through everywhere you pass through, the license plate reader been clocking your shit, gang. That man's mind was blown. What? What is this magical thing? Yes, bro. They have license plate readers with AI technology that literally clocks your shit when you driving through shit. So yes, they don't have to follow. Nigga don't gotta be behind you the whole ride back. They could literally follow you digitally. You know what I'm saying? My nigga, I saw another video where the police, they have these, they're not even traffic cameras. They like, I don't know how to explain it. They like neighborhood cameras. I've noticed them, and when I did notice, I'm like, bro, that's weird. I never seen that there a couple months ago, but it's there now. It's literally this huge pole with a camera on it, with a what you call it, with a what do you call it? Not a satellite. Man, I'm tripping. A solar panel on top of it. I said a satellite, a solar panel on top of it, right? And pretty much I saw a video, bro, and the video is how the police can literally sit that thing on your block and they could track all the traffic coming in and out that block. Matter of fact, they can track it. I'm gonna find a video. They can track the traffic all the way down to the apartment which motherfuckers is going to. So they can go and look, they can be like, okay, this past week, this many people have walked in this area, and all of them have all headed to the right or into that direction. And then from that direction, they all went into this apartment or this house. But again, all the smart street niggas don't understand these things. They don't want to learn about technology or what's going on in the world, bro. You know what I mean? They barely graduated high school. So why would they care to learn about how criminology is advancing? You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, gang, the streets is dead, bro. Leave that shit alone. Get you a legal jug and move on, bro. You feel me? The only way you could do that, man, I ain't gonna tell you how you can do it. Leave the streets alone, bro. Because I'm not going to give you no advice to get you locked up and then you like, Rah, you tripping. Hell nah, you feel me?
To be honest, as of December of 2022, they were keeping him in. I'm not sure. Doesn't look good for him. Sounds like he was targeted by a robbery crew that had access to a cop in Atlanta, but they didn't get nothing that time, so... It's a dirty game out in these streets, those of you that think you want to play.
Man.
You don't know who's looking at you, who's targeting you. And a lot of times it might not be the people you know. Somebody could be watching them.
Exactly.
If you didn't grow up like that, you don't know that. But you could be going over to see somebody.
That's why I be trying to explain to these niggas, gang. Hey, my nigga, my daddy a street nigga, bro. You feel me? Me and my dad had a whole conversation where he explained like, big dog, the game is dead, bro. If you involve yourself in any of that shit, you might make it a couple years if you're lucky. After that, you cooked, man. They have a saying. They say for every year you ball in the streets, that's 5 years you're going to sit in the penitentiary, bro. So do that math, bro. How many years of your life are you willing to trade for what you're doing? You know what I'm saying? That's why, again, the channel that I made, bro, man, part of it is to talk to the youngsters and try to, man, get them to figure out a different route, bro. You feel me? There's too many legal hustles out here for you to still be stuck in the streets, bro. Man, go get you a legal hustle, man. Go get you a skilled labor position. You feel me? Go get you a CDL, my nigga. Go be a truck driver, bro. You can make 6 figures driving trucks. Go get you a plumbing certification. Go get you a welding certification. You know what I'm saying? Gang, go get you, man, cybersecurity certification, man. Right now, your boy trying to get into the cyber shit. You feel me? Man, get you a legal hustle, man, and apply the same pressure you would in the streets, and apply that same pressure to that shit. Take that money, invest it. You're going to be all right, bro. You feel me? Don't get caught up in the street shit, bro. Because niggas will swap you out, bro. I'm going to keep it 100. Ain't no loyalty in that shit, bro. Ain't no loyalty in that shit. The loyalty that used to be here is long gone. And I get it, bro. You feel me? I get it because ain't no loyalty from the big plugs to the little plugs. You know what I mean? From the low-end street dealer to the big bad whatever nigga that's on top. Ain't no loyalty, bro. Because both of them is going to snake each other out to get out. So leave that shit alone, gang.
And they're fine. Somebody at the end of their block watches them.
Exactly.
Your person is a nice car and they own you. Your person don't know nothing about it. So I don't know what happened with this, but Bankroll Freddie's EBK squad was hot, really hot, because there was already investigation into them. And in 2020 in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, at a motel, there was a black detective named, I think, Kevin Collins, serving a warrant on an EBK member.
Leave the street shit alone, gang.
Hey guys, right now we've got a handful of efficient air conditioning systems left over from the summer, and honestly, we're basically giving them away.
Only way you getting away with doing crime is if you do it by yourself. And even then, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no guarantee, man.
We've learned that Keyshawn Smith has been arrested and charged with capital murder in connection to the shooting. He, Kevin, will have a probable cause hearing tomorrow morning at 9 on Zoom.
Collins was shot and killed during a shootout between Pine Bluff police and 2 suspects on Monday.
I was just shocked. Like, I wasn't really feeling anything else other than that, you know, because, like I said, it was just a crazy sight to see.
Gunned down the cop. So, feds are on them. They're not taking them lightly, especially you're down in not a rural area, but Little Rock and Pine Bluff are medium to small cities. So, you know, they were making the crowd move, as Courtney Brown Jr. likes to say down there. They were rocking.
Got come from the side, you already know what time it is.
Freddie Bankroll escaped without injury, but his cousin was pistol whipped multiple times. In a previous bond hearing, Justin Thorne's attorney, Lenny Franco, told the judge that his client got involved because he and his family had been threatened. It's unclear who the threat came from, but a Channel 2 Action News investigation discovered about 2 weeks before the armed robbery, Thorne resigned from APD amid an internal affairs investigation into reports that he offered to take a payment from a suspect with an outstanding warrant in exchange for making the warrant go away.
Justin Thorne, dirty APD.
That's some fried ass shit, bro. Like, how do you think you could, as a police have nothing to do with your warrant? A warrant is signed by the judge. You know what I mean? Another example of just slow niggas doing slow shit together. My guy, a police officer cannot do anything about your warrant at all. That's not who issues the warrant. That's not who follows through with the warrant. It's the judge, my guy.
Pled guilty. He has 10 years. He didn't give up the ghost of who his partners were. He said he had been threatened. Bankroll Freddie and his cousin did make statements to the police, but of course you have to because it all happened on the camera. As soon as you start your crew, you start calling yourself a gang, right there, now you're subjecting yourself to more enhancements. And he didn't want to plead out, and when you don't accept responsibility, aka you take it to trial, then you don't get more points for taking it to trial, but they don't remove points for you. So anytime you
my dog, gang enhancements are real. You do a crime, you gonna get years. You rob somebody, you gonna get years. You sell dope, you gonna get years. But if you sell dope as a group of individuals, an organized organization, you're cooked, bro. They gonna slap on. You know what I'm saying? That's why when niggas be trying to claim they gang this and gang that, like, bro, you don't know what come with that shit, bro. You feel me? These people gonna throw you an extra 10 years just for claiming some shit. And most niggas ain't built to go take that time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Man, leave the streets alone, gang.
plead guilty, they're gonna reduce what you are looking at. So if you don't plead guilty, then the initial statutes stand, and often those are pretty heavy. And again,
of course. If you take it to trial, they're gonna bend you over, gang. They're gonna bend you over, and yeah, it pretty much is the choice is: do you want to take this plea, so we fuck you with some Vaseline, or you don't take this plea and we fuck you without Vaseline? That's pretty much your choice, bro. You know what I'm saying? And only a fool would take a gang indictment with over 30, 40, 50, 80 people to trial. Unless you know you ain't did nothing, you fried, my nigga. And even then, you still might come out and, you know what I'm saying? You might have did something unintentionally. There's, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was, I forgot the dude's name, but there was a drug dealer who explained how he was a big kingpin. He was doing his thing. And at the time, his moms didn't know what he was doing, but he would like give his moms like money orders or cash to turn into money orders. Nigga, the feds came down and said, hey, bro, we know your mama took some of these drug proceeds and did this and this with it. We don't care if she knew it or not. We're going to send your mama to jail. So the question comes down to this, my nigga, do you think a nigga is going to go to jail with him and his mama and he going to let you be free in the world? Or you think he going to tell on you to make sure him and his mama go free? Answer. When you can answer that question and you realize what you're signing up for.
That time added for being over other people and making a phone call telling them to get rid of scales and guns. Now, why was he driving around with 2 heaters and all that, those pounds? Maybe he thought that his stash was about to get hit and he was moving it all at once. Yeah. Again, hard to imagine with this type of footage why he wouldn't have taken a plea deal.
Man.
And let this be a lesson.
Especially with weed, bro. Not just weed, but weed, you could kind of get away with that shit, bro. I'm going to keep it 100. When you dealing with bud, they look at it You know what I mean? Even certain states, like if you get, I know niggas who get caught in Arizona with, I mean, tons, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Tons. The fuck 20-pound nigga, tons. You feel me? And they might get 10 years because the federal government doesn't look at weed the same way it looks at hard drugs. But once you're dealing with meth, fentanyl, crack, all this shit, boy, yeah, you making a little bit more money, my boy, but you playing with fire. You hear me? You sticking your hand into the furnace and you hoping it don't get burnt every time. You feel me? And then you add guns on top of it. Yeah, you cooked, bro. That was always a rule, bro. You feel me? Like even whenever I was in the streets gang, if I felt like I had to bring my gun to serve you, you feel me? I ain't serving you, bro. If I felt I got to bring my gun to come cop from you, I ain't coming, bro. Because that's a whole nother situation on top of whatever else you dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
To anyone, if you're out there trapping, I mean, a lot of people moved 21 bulls around every day and it never got caught.
They don't get caught. Nigga, that nigga's moving 100 a week. Police ain't even worried about him, gang. But whenever you bring in violence and guns and the hard shit, yeah, you cook, bro.
Heard about many people that during the last 10-year reefer run sold a lot and made a lot of money, never had any police contact. They're very minimal. But the EBK Lodi mob.
Did you know that you can have permanent teeth in just 24 hours? That's right. Only 24 hours and your new smile.
And another thing what niggas don't understand, bro. And another thing what niggas don't understand, bro, especially nowadays, bro. A lot of the big plugs, bro, is informants, my nigga. That's what a lot of niggas don't know, bro. You might go to Cali to go cop from a nigga, grab 100 pounds from him, 200 pounds from him, whatever. Little do you know that this man is already not only under a federal investigation, he's working with these people. So as soon as you get on that road, them boys gonna flick you, bro. That man gonna swap you out. And you know what the feds gonna do? They gonna let him keep doing his thing. They gonna let him keep doing his thing, bro. One of my homies, bro, I was locked up with, bro. Shout out my nigga Blue, bro. I was having this conversation with him because when we were locked up at the time, I was facing felony possession with intent to distribute. You know what I'm saying? They were saying I was some type of dealer, but I don't know what they talking about, bro. You feel me? I'm not guilty. You feel me? But yeah, man, it's I was talking to him, I was chopping it up because when we were in jail, we promised each other pretty much because we watch each other's backs and shit. Like, bro, when we get out, man, we gonna do different shit, bro. When we get out, we gonna try to go a different path. So I was chopping it up with him a couple of days ago, man. Gang told me straight up, he said, bro, no, I'm explaining to him like, bro, a lot of the big, you know what I mean, the big dealers that niggas was dealing with, whatever, a lot of them niggas is informants, my nigga. And they swapping out everybody else at the bottom because they in they Hollywood Hill mansions with their Lamborghinis with their chains on, swapping out all the little niggas. They have you come in, they give you the bowls, they take your cash, the police pick you up, they get to keep the cash, and they get to keep trapping, which is crazy to me, but that is a fact, bro. He telling me, man, bro, I already know, bro. He said, my uncle just got picked up with 35 leaving out of Cali. I said, exactly, bro. That's why we got to chill out, man. You feel me? Man, young nigga, chill out, man. You feel me? Get you a different hustle, man.
Violence that was going back and forth there in Pine Bluff brought heat. And of course, Bankroll Freddie, being the famous guy in the situation, they called him the leader and said, and that enhanced his time and got him up to 12 and a half years. If he would have gotten caught with the 20 bowls,
it would have been nothing.
There was no homicide.
It would have been a slap on the wrist. If it was just the 20 bowls, that man would be out in 3 to 5. If he don't have a prior record, maybe 2. 2.5 probation. That's the difference when you add a gun.
Out of a cop, there was no guns that he had with him. There was no, he wasn't a part of EBK. There was no gang war he was a part of. He might have got probation or
literally
what he would have got.
Literally.
Because as it stood, he was sentenced to 5 years for the Mary Jane, but that includes the enhancements. So again, he probably would only got a couple years for that. But because of all the other stuff, the violence that was around it, chiefly that cop getting gunned down, which didn't have anything to do with him, but it was those guys who were supposedly in EBK, so you can imagine the federal prosecutors weren't playing around with him. So 12.5 years for Bankroll Freddie. Now, so Bankroll Freddie didn't seem like he knew what he was doing too much when he was out on the street, and he didn't play his legal case too well.
Hell no.
He ended up with 12.5 years. So if you're out here trying to get some money, get some money. And be careful about going to different cities that you're not from. You better be sure of where you're at and who you're with. Staying in cheap motels doesn't end up well. And so hopefully Bankroll Freddie can get a little bit of his time knocked down. Al Prophet, American Dope.
Man, like I said, bro, my first advice is, man, get out the streets, bro. That's my first advice, is if you in the streets, my nigga, find a way to shake around from that shit, bro. You feel me? Find you a legal hustle or figure out a different route to do that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, bro, you living on borrowed time. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't last too long, my nigga. I don't know too many dope dealers that rode off into the sunset that ain't never told, never fold, you know what I'm saying? Or never, you know what I mean, had to take a lick, bro, because that's what come with that shit, bro. You feel me? But I ain't gonna make the video longer than I need to be, man. This your boy Prince Raw. I'm gonna catch y'all next video, gang.
Ciao.